We welcome all my dear friends. Today we are going to discuss in detail what discipline is, what its essence is, and how to implement it step by step. But most importantly, we are going to discuss it on the basis of a wonderful theory of resource management that almost no one ever talks about. Everyone just says that it is necessary to plow and kill. But sooner or later, this approach leads to what? Right to burnout and abandonment of the business you just started. That's why, if you want to never abandon what you've started, you need to learn the theory of resource management that we're going to tell you about now. But first, we would like to say that we are surprised by the YouTube community because of the lack of normal practical information about how to build your success, how to build a discipline, what are the strategies for promotion, how to study people and society. All kinds of billionaires and gurus say two trivial things in social media. How can you teach someone if you don't know anything yourself? But your information is very trivial, very ineffective. You say very simple and understandable truths, so clear to everyone. We've even seen chairs filled with money. Teach others how to earn and develop better in this world. Tell us how this system really works, how this world within the government deception works. But you hardly know it, or you just hide it. That's why we have to reveal the truth in such an anonymous way, to show how the system is organized and how it is really necessary to develop, to earn money, to get knowledge, to study society and people. We have to do it. Discipline, then, is a person's ability to follow established rules, norms, and plans regardless of external circumstances or internal desires, as well as the ability to give up momentary pleasures in order to achieve long-term goals. If you have a problem, a desire, a goal, a dream, all this can be realized through discipline. Without it, you can't build success, you can't make more money, you can't grow. Discipline is a whole strategy. Imagine that you are playing a computer game from the strategy genre. You are chaotically mining resources. You are tired. You decide to sleep, to relax, to communicate with someone. And then, the next day, you start to continue development of your virtual empire. However, your opponent, neighboring his virtual state, did not allow himself chaotic development. He has a whole plan, a whole strategy of how he needs to develop. There comes a time when this opponent absorbs you because he is more competitive than you. He has a clear plan that he follows day in and day out. He rests moderately, he works moderately, but his efforts have a greater effect than yours because he does it all the time. He does it systematically. Systematic work has a cumulative character, and soon the accumulated effects are felt. Discipline equals accumulation effect. Accumulation is a very nice term, especially for a financially savvy person. As people who run dozens of businesses in different industries, let us say that accumulation is one of the principles of our philosophy. These accumulations have had and still have different forms. It is knowledge accumulation, it is financial accumulation, it is social accumulation, which is the network of social connections that we have and in which we also invest, and it is health accumulation. All these accumulations through discipline over the years have given me the result of everything we have now. Moreover, they allow me to multiply what we already have, if we want. This is the result that secures the rest of our lives. We can apply all our knowledge in any field, so how long do we have to be disciplined for the cumulative effect to bear serious fruit? It's 5 to 6 years of discipline and self-control, but they will give such a result that will provide the rest of your life. Now, let us discuss the actual implementation of the discipline in your life. And first, we need to understand the nature of the theory of resource management. Discipline is a tool that requires the resources of the organism, psychological, volitional, physical. In short, our resource is not permanent. We can lose it quickly, which will bring the difficulty of discipline. The theory we mentioned above says that willpower is a very limited resource. It is used up after each decision or demonstration of self-control and self-discipline. When this resource is depleted, it is more difficult for the individual to maintain control. In this case, he is more likely to be tempted and give up. Scientific studies refer to the energy that allows a person to control himself and his behavior. This energy is analogous to a muscle. Just as a muscle fatigues with exercise, self-control diminishes after constant acts of control. Here is a good study on this topic. In science, this is called ego depletion. It is this depletion that leads to addictions to alcohol, erratic behavior, nicotine, narcotics, psychotropic drugs, and so on. If you exhaust your resources, your ego Even through discipline, it is inconvenient. Therefore, it is important to study the theory of resource management in order to build one's discipline so that it does not deplete one's energy. To continue the analogy, a muscle adapts to the load. It can be trained. The same is true for the energy of self-control. It can also be trained. Therefore, with the help of this theory, we will learn how to properly manage our resource in order not to abandon discipline. As often happens. What is it that depletes our resource? It is thoughts, their control. It is the management of emotions, emotions themselves. It is overcoming undesirable impulses. For example, the desire to smoke at the sight of cigarettes. It's attention fixation. It's managing behavior, making decisions and choices. Aggression after provocation. When you tell everyone your plans, you reveal their details. It is self-promotion and impression management. And kindness in response to someone's bad behavior. Carefully review the above list. Some of these things are in excess in you, and 100% constantly lowering your self-control resources. And what is the task of the person practicing the discipline? That's right. The task is to use his resources properly to prevent ego exhaustion, to prevent the exhaustion of self-control resources, because they are limited. The way to prevent this is to manage your resource competently. For this purpose, it is necessary, first of all, emotional regulation, which includes awareness training, meditation, breathing practice 2 to 3 times a day, to inhale and exhale deeply with the diaphragm and mentally follow the breath. Also do this practice for about 5 to 10 minutes during any excitement, anger, impulse, and other turbulent emotions. You should definitely do this practice before going to bed in order to fall asleep better, to remove the chaotic thoughts before going to bed, and to prevent bad thoughts from creeping into the subconscious mind. This requires, and cognitive behavioral therapy is the very therapy that helps change negative thoughts and emotions. It allows you to change thought patterns, which are your normal reactions to similar situations. For example, you constantly feel anger at the smallest things, or you hold a grudge for something that no one would hold a grudge for, or you didn't mean to be offended at all. These thought patterns should be rethought. You should look at the situation from a different angle and ask yourself, is my reaction to that event justifiable? Or I am just exaggerating, giving in to emotions. Or for example, someone criticizes you. The vast majority will react negatively and angrily to the criticism, or they will take the criticism as a signal to give up. But it is wise to take the criticism as a stimulus for growth. Moving forward, this also includes social interaction. Make sure you include time in your weekly schedule to meet with friends, colleagues, or other people to discuss something or to have an active and rewarding vacation. Laughter is especially restorative for the ego. This does not mean that the more laughter the better. We mean that, for example, you worked hard for a week and then you met with friends where there were some funny moments, jokes, and so on. In this case, laughter will greatly restore the resource, but daily laughter will only make it worse, because it lowers our emotional balance. Finally, this includes a constant reminder of goals and objectives that you need to keep in front of you. Write down your goals for the near future somewhere. Look at them daily. This way you will develop neural connections and you will adapt better in practice. Let's now break down the discipline implementation plan step by step. What do we need to do? The first stage, understand what you want to achieve in the next 5 years. Study your usual daily routine, how much you sleep, how much you work, how much free time is left, how much, and how you eat. Study your bad habits here include not only banal smoking alcohol or substances, but also any other habits that take up a lot of your time and are not useful. These are shows, movies, clubs, shopping, games, social networks, and so on. What kind of habits you have, how much money you spend on them, how much time you spend on them on average each day, how often these habits relapse. Then we move on to the second stage. Set clear overall goals for 5 to 6 years. Set clear goals for each year that will lead to the achievement of common goals. Make a weekly planner. This planning will be made on the basis of your daily regimen, and in this plan should be introduced, and how you will throw negative habits. And planning must necessarily include a system. Means that some action is repeated systematically, daily, weekly, monthly, and so on. You need to think of the plan so that each repeated action is measured as a percentage of accomplishing the task for which these actions are taking place. For example, you have set a goal to study trading. You have a plan that includes learning the ins and outs of it, and you have a reading list. You have planned to do this for 1 hour every day. Completion of this task, i.e., learning the basics of trading, equals 100%. You have measured that every hour of your day equals 3% of learning. It turns out that every day you fulfill the task by 3%. And finally, you need to implement the resource management theory, which we mentioned above. The conclusion of this is that by carefully watching and rewatching the video and implementing everything we have said into your life, we are sure that this knowledge will be a game changer in your life. See you again.